So the next question is there on your screen. I'll give you 2-3 minutes to try to get the answer for the question, and then I'll go about solving it. So this question was also part of the SBI Clerks AIM that was conducted last week. So 6 Indian professors from 6 different institutions, J, M, X, N, P and U, went abroad to attend an international conference. They stay in 6 successive rooms on the 2nd floor of a hotel, that is 201 to 206. Each of them has published papers in a number of journals and has donated to a number of institutions last year. Okay, so how many rooms are there? There are 6 rooms, right? 201, 202, 203, 204, 205 and 206. Okay, so they are staying in these rooms. Now what is given? They are publishing papers in journals, right? They are publishing papers in journals and they are also donating to institutions, right? Other than that, their names are also given. So they have a room number, right? And then they have names. So there are 4 things that you need to map here correctly, correct? Names, room number, number of journal publications and institutions. Okay, now let us let us just skim through the information that is given. The professor in room 202 has published twice as many journals. Okay, the professor yes. So if you see, I'm not reading the statement aloud. If you actually see here, no, this particular statement, what have they said? The professor in room number 203 has published in the number of 12 journals and donated to 8 institutions last year. So that can be that is something that can be fixed, correct? So that is the first information which you can directly write down. So in the table. So I am writing this down first. Professor in room number 3 has published 12 journals. So 12 journals and he has 8 institutions he has donated. Okay. Now if you look at the first statement, so I have made use of this statement. Okay. Now if you look at this statement, what are they saying? The professor in room number 202 has published twice as many journals as the professor who has donated 8 institutions last year. So the professor who has donated to 8 institutions last year has published 12 journals. So how much would 202 have published? 12 into 2, correct? So that is 24. So this is 24. So this information also we have made use. Next, the professor who published 16 journals donated to 24 institutions last year. Now I don't know where to put that in the table. So I am just writing here. The person who has published 16 journals is donating to 24 institutions. I don't know who that is. Let that be there. The professor in room number 205 has published 8 journals and donated to 2 institutions lesser than the professor X from the last year. So the professor in room number 205, he has written 8 journals, right? He has published 8 journals and then he has, how many institutions has he donated to? If professor from X is donating to X institutions, he is giving to X minus 2 institutions. So I don't know that, I am just going to write it as X minus 2. I am assuming that this professor from X, right, he is donating to X institutions. So this person will donate to X minus 2. Okay, yeah. Then what have they given? They have given that the professor X is staying in an odd numbered room. Again, I cannot use that for now. Let that be there. Then what have they said? The professor of M is staying 2 rooms ahead of professor of P, who is staying 2 rooms ahead of professor of X in the ascending order of room number. Now what does this statement mean? This is a very important statement in the question. Okay, so they have said if this is X, okay, I am putting X here, means where is professor P staying? Professor P is staying 2 rooms ahead of X. So there is one person in between X and P. So this has to be P. Followed by there is one person here in between P and M. Okay, so this is going to be the way in which X, P and M are being placed. Now if you place them like this itself, this is filling up 5 spaces, correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you need to place only one more person. Now that one extra person can either be here or be here. Now you have to see where to place this X, P and M. See, if I assume that there is one person before X, then what can I say? The person before X is going to be in this room, X will be in room 202, P will be in room 204 and M will be in room 206. But in the previous statement, note that they have given a statement which says the professor from X is staying in an odd numbered room. So if I take this to be the arrangement, right, there is a person before X, and then this arrangement is coming, then what will happen? X will become in an even numbered room. So that arrangement is not possible. So definitely X has to be here, and the person who has to be fixed, no? The last person has to be here. So this has to be X. So now you can fix X in 201. That is going to be X position, because very clearly they have said see, in this statement they have said that P is staying 2 rooms ahead of X and M is staying 2 rooms ahead of P in the ascending order of the room number. So if you know that, I can say that X is here. So this has to be P and this has to be M. Now you have fixed all this. Next what have they given? They have given that the professor from X, so I have used this statement also completely. I have used this statement also. Okay? Yeah. Next, the professor from X and J do not stay in room 206. Okay, again, professor from X does not stay in room 206, he is staying in 201. So J cannot come here. So J has to be either here or here. Now I don't know where, let that be there. Then this also we have taken into consideration. Now let us look at the statements that they have given on top, which I have not used. Okay, 4 times the number of journals published by the professor in room number 202 is equal to the number of institutions for which he donated last year. So from this, what can you say? So see, professor in the room 202, he has published 24 journals. So how many institutions has he donated to? He has donated to 24 into 4, correct? 4 times. So that is equal to 96. So he has donated to 96 institutions. Next, okay, I have to fix J, okay? I don't know where J is. I have just written it like that for now. Yeah. Next, what have they given? The professor from J has published, the professor from J published in 8 journals lesser than the professor from P, but donated 10 more institutions last year. So if you are looking at Professor J, what has he done? See, he has published 8 journals lesser than Professor P. So how much has Professor P published? Professor P has published 12. So how much has J published? 12 minus 8, that is 4 journals. Okay, and also it is given that, but he has donated 10 more institutions last year. That means that he has donated for 10 more institutions than P. So if P is donating 8, J is donating 18. Okay, now with this information I can fix J. See, if you see room number, see, you know J is either in room number 202 or 204. But in room number 202, you already know how much journals that person has published and already how much institution he has donated to. Now J you have found out to be 4 and 18. So definitely this is not J. This cannot be J and this has to be J. You can fix this as J. So what is this? Is 4 and this is 18. Now now next, so this information also you have used, correct? 4 times the number of journals. Yes, that is also used. Then the professor from J, this also you have used. Now the last information that you have not used is this. Okay, the professor from U and the professor in room 206 together published a total number of 40 journals. Okay, the professor, now which are the ones we are left to see? Yeah, the professor from U and the professor from room 206. So what does that mean? U is not coming here, correct? If it was U here, then that statement would not even have come. So this has to be U, definitely. This has to be U. So who is going to be in 206? The person whom we have not used. Whom have we not used? N. Is it N? Yeah, N we have not used. So N is coming here. So now you have got the arrangement fairly. Now what have they said? The professor from U and the professor from room number 206 together published 40 journals. So if they are together publishing 40 journals, right? He has published 24. Okay, so how much should he publish? 40 minus 24, right? 40 minus 24, that is equal to 16. Now here see, remember we have kept one information which we have not used. There is some person who is publishing 16 journals and donating to 24 institutions. So that has to be N. So if this is 16, this has to be 24. So now we have made use of all the information that is given. Now what are you left with? X. Again, nothing about this person is given because we have used up everything that is there, and we cannot find anything here. Okay, and here also you know this is X minus 2. That information also you can't use. I mean, you can't find out correctly. with the given information. So if you actually see, this question is easy only. Only thing is you will have to first make use of the statements given towards the end and fix that. Once you have fixed that, then backtracing becomes very easy. Okay, now let's look at the questions that follow. So the first question is this: in which of the following rooms is the professor from M staying? So where is professor from M staying? Professor from M is staying in room number 205. So the correct answer is option E. How many institutions did the professor from J donate to last year? So professor from J, how many institutions did he donate to? 18. Okay. So next question, the professor of which institute is staying in room number 206? What is the answer for that? Who is staying in room number 206? Who is staying in room number 206? Who is staying in 206? N. N is staying in 206. The professor of which institute donated to 24 institutions last year? So who donated to 24 institutions last year? See, 24 institutions is N. So it is N. Then the professor of which institute published the maximum number of journals? Yes, N, correct. Who published the maximum number of journals? U has published the maximum number of journals. So U. In how many journals did the professor J publish? So how many journals did professor J publish? J has published 4 journals. 4. Yes, U followed by next answer is 4. Okay, good.